Hi, I'm Dan Hegstead. Welcome to my vlog and podcast, Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving. I'm going to talk about exercise. Oh, I don't know, did you hear it? But there's that little part in my head that said, Dan, you have no business talking to anybody about exercise. Yeah, I know. And if you'd known me for most of my life, you'd agree with that. But I'm going to do it anyway because I've learned a thing or two about it. Here's what I've learned about exercise. First of all, leave your vanity at home. That's the first thing that's going to pop into your head is I'm too fat to go to the gym. Oh, come on. Get real. You get to go to the gym. Yeah, you may be fat and ugly. Nobody cares. You care. But I think what you do is you recognize that feeling and that thought and you say, okay, you just sit there. I'm going to go anyway. The second thing is you do not need to spend a lot of money. That's the second thing that stops us. Oh, what would I do? I don't have a lot of money. You don't need to. The thing I recommend, and I'm no expert on this, but it just seems to be true, is walking. Walking is terrific exercise. And, it's not going to get you in Olympic condition, but who cares? Walking is great exercise, and almost anybody can do it. And you don't have to go far and long and, set your expectations real. Just go around the block and next week go around 2 blocks. You start where you're at and you get going. All you need is some decent shoes. And people that are serious walkers tell me your shoes will lose structure before they look worn out. So yeah, okay, you don't need to spend a lot of money, but you're going to need some decent shoes. And if you get into it, you're going to have to replace them every few months, even though they don't look worn out. But you do not need to go buy a bunch of equipment. You do not need, all the machines they want to sell you to have in your basement or put in your bedroom to hang your clothes on. You just don't need to do that. If you decide you want to do it later, that's fine. You absolutely do not let go of that excuse. Okay, move on to the next thing. If you tell me to do something for exercise, I'm going to say, nope, not happening. I'm going to do something for fun. It's got to be fun. That's just the way it works in my head. And I thought, hey, bicycling looks like fun. So I got into bicycling. And I don't do it for exercise, but it is terrific exercise. Good for your joints and your lungs and your heart and everything. And there's lots of different kinds of biking. So I'm going to talk about biking, but I think all these principles apply to just about whatever you want to do. So take that. I'm going to tell you about what I know. Okay, the next thing that's going to pop in your head is the vision of the models that you see exercising on TV and online. Let that one go. Just say, oh yeah, I recognize that. That's not my reality. And let it go. Don't deny it. Don't use it as an excuse. We're just going to get moving. We're going to start where we're at. And no matter what you do, it's nobody's business how much you do. You've got some expectations. I don't know what they are. Keep them low. Just move, get started, and try some different things till you find out what works for you. Now, if you get into something, say you want to just try something, and maybe it does require some equipment, don't go buy brand new stuff, but my feeling is don't go buy stuff at a big box store. And let me use biking as an example again. You can't buy a decent bicycle at a big box store, as far as I know, for a couple of reasons. The quality just isn't there. I mean, they look the same until you know what you're looking at, and a bicycle in particular has to be fit for you and your body. Every body is different. And yeah, you can make some adjustments on the bike, but the bike's geometry, the way it's built, has to be correct for you. Frame size is what they look at. So you want to go to a real store that knows how to fit bicycles, and maybe they have some used ones. Or you join a bike club, and there's always people upgrading bikes. You can get a great deal on a great bike from a bike club, but it has to be fit for you. Okay, so you try that, and then you say, hey, the biking isn't for me. Well, then you've got something worth selling. If you bought something at a big box store, no, you can donate it, which is a great thing to do, but nobody's going to buy it. A few years ago, I wanted to try rollerblades, and we didn't go buy rollerblade, some shoe with the wheels on it. I found some used rollerblades. My son and I went out. Turns out I really dislike it. Those things don't have brakes. No. Do not like rollerblading, but I gave it a shot. Well, then I had something to sell, too. I got most of my money back on them. So instead of $300, I paid $50, and I think I sold them for $35, something like that. So there's something. You give it a try. You say, hey, I didn't like it. I got into kayaking a few years ago. I like kayaking. It's beautiful. I live in Minnesota. There's nothing nicer than being in a kayak on a nice night, and you get the loons out there. And the people who kayak are some really interesting people. But if I've got a couple hours, I'd rather be out biking. I still am a member of the kayak club, and I go out occasionally, but I rent a kayak now. Now, biking. There's lots of different kinds of biking. I bought a really nice road bike where you can go do 50 or 100 miles and zoom along and that. I don't really care for that much. I like mountain biking. I've got great mountain biking trails right near my house here. And so I bought a decent mountain bike, and it's going to be good for the rest of my life, I think. But I tried some cheaper ones, too. I mean, I started out with a Schwinn Woodlands that was a couple $100, I think, and that was fine for 20 years. But I've upgraded, and now I've got a Trek Full Stash, it's called. It's got all the... Anyway, it's a great bike. I love it. I just love it. Now, next piece of advice is when you get into whatever you're doing, get all your equipment together and keep it kind of in one place. Because if you're sitting on the couch thinking I do snowshoeing in the winter. I got to have my snowshoes, and I got to know where the boots because I wear different boots for snowshoeing, the right socks and blah, 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 all that stuff I keep in one place. Because if I sit on the couch and I think I should go snowshoeing, it's a nice day, I don't know where my stuff is. It's scattered all over the house and garage and car. Now, next thing you know, you're going to stay on your couch. So get everything together, get ready to go, and just get in the habit of using it. You got to practice with it a little bit too. Remember also that when you get out doing any kind of exercise, you're going to be some level of uncomfortable. You're going to find muscles you didn't know you had, and you just get used to that. It's a little bit, sometimes more than others. That's my first rule of biking. You're going to be a little bit, or maybe even a lot, uncomfortable on this bike ride, but it is so worth it. It's just nothing compared to the value and the fun you get from doing it. But understand, it's not sitting at home watching TV. You're going to be using stuff. Biking, for example, I tell people when you go out for the first time of the season, or if you don't bike often, your butt's going to hurt. It does. And I suggest, okay, take the next day off, but the day after that, you get out there, and your butt's still going to hurt, but you do it anyway. You just work through that, and then it doesn't hurt anymore. But if you don't do it regularly, you'll never work through that. So just be aware of that. Some days a diamond, some days a stone. Some days you go out and feel got lots of energy, others you don't. You just do it anyway. It's fun. And lastly, I'll tell you, Nike said it just right. Just do it. If you start thinking about these things, you're going to talk yourself out of it really fast. Don't think about it. Just do it. Motivation follows motion. Motivation follows motion. If you wait for the motivation, you're going to sit. If you start moving, just get up off the couch without thinking about it and get your gear together and go do something. You're going to enjoy it. Motivation follows motion. And lastly, just don't quit. Really. I mean, it's true. You can do anything if you just don't quit. If you just keep trying or try something different. Just don't quit. Yeah, maybe you go through a rough patch and you haven't done anything for 3 months. Well, don't use that as an excuse. Don't think about it too much. Just go do it. Just start again. It's nobody's business how often you haven't exercised or what kind of shape you're in. Just keep going. Just try something different. Maybe you start over again by walking around the block. That's okay. You let go of that feeling of shame or whatever it is, and you say, it's nobody's business. It doesn't matter. Your opinion is the only one that matters, and hey, I'm just starting over. And it's okay. The other thing I found is if you get kind of in shape a little bit, it feels pretty good. And if you stop exercising for a while, that kind of goes away, but it comes back pretty fast too. And as you just get a little more in tune to your body, it just feels good to be able to do something you couldn't do. Let me tell you, I'm 67 today, and I think I was 64 when my son and I hiked 6 miles at 10,000 feet, 11,000 feet at Rocky Mountain National Park. I did that. And listen, if you'd known me when I was 40, you would not say that's a guy who's going to hike 6 miles at 10,000 feet. I biked 100 miles a few years ago. I did that. And a few years ago, I heard my wife tell somebody, Dan, he's quite the athlete. And putting my name and athlete in the same sentence was laughable at one time. Not even laughable, it was sad, But I haven't worked hard. I have just found something that's fun and I go do it. And I think that's my message to you today. That's how you move from coping to thriving, is let go of expectations, let go of other people's judgments. They don't care anyway. Let go of your own judgments and just go do something. Start walking. Get some decent shoes and start walking. And that's all you ever need to do for the rest of your life. And you can do that. You can walk at the mall in the winter if that's an issue for you. Just do it. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The book is Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving. It's available through my website, danhegstead.com. And if you're looking for a good speaker, please consider me. All that information, again, is on my website, danhegstead.com. This is Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving.